Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. And in this episode, I'm also going to be talking about the brain. In the previous episode, I talked about the turbocharging your brain, how to increase your brain function. Today, I'm going to be talking about the microbiome and how your microbiome influences your brain and what we can eat, what we can do to keep our microbiome healthy, and then in turn, keep our brains healthy so that we can have good brain function and that we can protect our brains for longer, that we can have clearer thinking for a longer period of time. We know that there's neurodegeneration and that our brains degenerate and become less flexible or plastic as we go along in our aging process. But we want to keep our brains as young as possible for as long as possible so that we can have peak performance and that we can have a longer period of clear and active thinking with good memory. So let's get straight into it. So our brain uses about 20% of our energy. Stress increases that use, and there is gut-brain axis. So the brain uses a lot of energy. The brain needs a lot of energy. The brain needs a lot of nutrients, fats, fluid, especially as well. So thinking of all of these, it starts in the gut. Our gut is where fluid is absorbed, excreted. The fluid balance is maintained there. The nutrient balance is maintained in your gut and your microbiome. It has been shown that if you have disturbances in your microbiome, it can cause brain fog or tiredness or mental lethargy, where your brain is tired. So all of these things can build up, and it starts in your microbiome. So when we are born, our microbiome is influenced by many different factors. So first of all, it's influenced by the parents' microbiome. It's influenced by the parents' health, what the parents do, the parents' environment, the birth environment, how the place where you were born, the method that you were born, cesarean section or natural birth. Then it's influenced if you're breastfed or not breastfed. It's influenced by your environment at home. If you go outside, if you go inside. It's been shown that children who play outside more have a healthier and a more diverse microbiome. Children who are born to a normal delivery and are breastfed have a richer and a more diverse and a healthier microbiome as well. So these things influence your microbiome, but you can also influence your microbiome later in life as well by things that you do. If you are taking antibiotics, you are wiping out your entire microbiome and you kind of have to build it up back again. Each and every time you take antibiotics, you are completely wiping out your microbiome, your gut bacteria. This is a man-made catastrophe because that's where your health starts, is in your microbiome. Then you have to build it up again. And what builds your microbiome? What is the food for your microbiome? Fiber, prebiotics, probiotics, symbiotics. Those all come from fiber and from active cultures. So fermented foods are especially good. Fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and grains. Everything with a high fiber will feed your gut. Things that don't feed the gut, anything that comes from an animal, because that doesn't have any fiber. Your microbiome, your bacteria really thrive on fiber. That is their food. So if you're taking in things that are not feeding your microbiome, you're building some other kind of bacteria. So not the healthy, good Bacteroides bacteria. So there are also diseases linked to dysfunctions in your microbiome, like schizophrenia, autism, Parkinson's. A lot of brain diseases have been linked to dysfunctions in your microbiome, and it has been treated by fecal transplants into your microbiome or changing the ratios in the microbiome by feeding probiotics or prebiotics or symbiotics. So specifically focusing on your brain has the sensitive period of development up to 7 years of age. And after that, it starts pruning or closing neurons and synapses, which decreases activity or increases activity. And it was always thought that this is the only period of time where you can become proficient and perfect or like a master level of something if you haven't started it before 7. But it has been shown now that you can activate your brain into this more sensitive learning period or plastic learning period, where you are able to learn mass amounts of information and retain it. And this can be done by priming or stimulating your brain by certain things that you put into your body and do with your body. And this starts in the microbiome. So your microbiome is about set by the age of 3. So everything you do before the age of 3 sets up your microbiome for later life. But you can manipulate it with things that you take in as well. You can change up your microbiome especially with what you are eating, because what you are eating is like growing your microbiome. It's almost like a garden or a forest. What you put on is what will grow. The seeds that you sow will be what you grow. So if you take antibiotics, it's cutting it out, it's kind of ripping it all out. If you think of a lawn, if you take an antibiotic, it's like pouring poison over your lawn and everything will die. So antibiotics are not good for your microbiome, and your microbiome is where health starts. So the brain stops this very sensitive periods and plastic periods of brain development to protect itself. So it has to start pruning neurons and slowing down learning to protect itself. It's been shown that like autism specifically is where this does not happen. So the brain is not protected and it continues for longer. So they can reach savant level in some things because their brain just continues this very sensitive learning period of plasticity. So learning can also happen when you force your brain to learn. So repeated training, repeating things. So that's a good way of forcing your brain to go into this learning period, is by repeating things and putting information into your brain. It will become more fluid and more sensitive to learning, and you'll be able to retain more things. And you can take your peak brain performance years between like 20 and 40. You can extend that too with these certain things. So you want to have neurogenesis, where you're growing brain cells. So if you have more neurogenesis, you increase the amount of happiness you have and you decrease the chances of depression. It also increases learning, it decreases stress, it decreases sleep deprivation, it makes you sleep better if you have more brain neurons. So things that will increase your neurogenesis is learning. So learning increases your neuronal refreshing, if I can put it that way, building new neuronal pathways, having more synapses, having more neurons. So sleep deprivation will decrease the amount of neurons you make. Exercise increases it. Good nutrition increases your neurogenesis. Aging decreases it. Sex increases it. So secreting dopamine, happy hormones will increase neurogenesis, so making more neurons, brain neurons. So this is really important to make new neurons and make neural pathways in your brain, because you want to learn more, you want to retain more. So exercise is good because it increases blood flow, it increases oxygen, it increases serotonin, it increases toxin removal, it clears your brain of toxins. Sleep also does that. Sleep clears out all of the toxins in your brain. After about 4 hours of sleep, that starts to happen. So you need about 8 hours of sleep to completely clear out your brain of debris or junk or dead cells, damaged cells. Good nutrition will benefit sleep, exercise, mood, your brain, your gut. It will increase everything. And exercise also increases the uptake and the absorption of nutrients. Then sleep is also important. Early to bed, early to rise. That helps your brain as well, because your brain function is best early in the morning. So you can do your functions in your most important big thinking tasks early in the morning to maximize your mental capacity and how much effort you can put into things. So then getting to your nutrition. So as I've touched on before, plant-based eating will be most beneficial to your microbiome. And if your microbiome is healthy, it permeates, it goes throughout the rest of your body, and especially with the brain, because there's a direct link. Because half of the dopamine that you need comes from your gut, and almost all of your serotonin comes from your gut. And these are two important hormones for your brain function and for your mood. Dopamine is needed for big thinking, big idea thinking, mental effort, innovating, motivation. This all comes from dopamine and serotonin. So you need those, and they come from your gut. So a healthy microbiome, a healthy bacterial growth in your gut, a healthy intestinal tract starts with what we put in. So what do we want to put in? High fiber foods, fruit and vegetables, all the different colors, whole grains, so the full grain, not the processed grains. You want especially berries. Berries are fantastic for your brain. You need berries a few times a week to increase your brain capacity and your brain power. Mushrooms are wonderful for your brain, especially lion's mane mushrooms, chaga, turkey tail, reishi. Those are especially good for your brain. They are adaptogens, so they help your brain to level out, not go too much, go too low. It helps to regulate stress. It regulates the immune system, so your brain will be healthy, and it improves your blood flow and helps to get rid of toxins. So this will all increase your brain power. These mushrooms also help the neurogenesis, building new cells. So your brain can then make new cells, which will supercharge your thinking. So mushrooms are fantastic. Omega-3, especially plant-based omega-3s. So vegetables that come from the sea, seaweed, kelp, sea moss. Seeds are loaded with omega-3s. Chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds. What other ones are there? There are many other ones. Sesame, sunflower, pumpkin. There are so many different seeds. All of them are packed with omega-3s. The flax seed is especially high. Chia, hemp, they're especially high in omega-3s. And flax seed you can have every single day. You can blend it up or crush it, make a powder, and then use it on, add a spoonful to any food that you are eating. You can also add hemp seeds, and that will also help. Coconut is another one that's fantastic. Olive oil or olives, they're also fantastic and high in omega-3. Avocado too. Then if you can get the more tropical things, they're also fantastic, like durian, jackfruit, mango, papaya, pineapple. They're also fantastic for your brain function. Papaya and pineapple contain enzymes that help digestion and help absorption of nutrients and help to get rid of toxins. So they are also good for clearing your brain of any debris and damaged cells, so that you can have a better brain function. So things that also clear up your vascular system, your veins and your vessels, your blood flow, that help your blood flow, will help your brain, because your brain uses a lot of blood. So things, any brightly colored fruit juice like pomegranate, cranberry, beetroot, carrot, they're all fantastic for your brain because they help your blood flow. They really increase your blood flow. One that's fantastic for this is green juices, leafy green vegetables. And if you can make a juice from this, this will really, really boost your blood flow. It will clear your blood. It will heal your blood. And that will make it work so much better. When your blood is healthy and flowing and your heart is healthy, your brain will be healthy because it has a lot of sensitive small blood vessels. Like I talked about the eye in a previous video, it contains many small little vessels. So if your heart health, your vascular health is good, your rest of your body will also be good, because the oxygen and the nutrients can travel through the body at a rapid pace, and you can clear out toxins quickly, and you'll have better performance, peak performance for longer if you can have a healthy vascular system. Then also sprouts and microgreens and nuts are also fantastic for your brain because they contain healthy fats. Walnuts, Brazil nuts, almonds, cashews, pecan nuts, pistachios, they're all very high in fats and omega fats and anti-inflammatory fats, which are very beneficial for your brain capacity. So things that we need to watch out for: smoking, alcohol, fried food. Fried food contains inflammatory fats which can damage your whole system, is also your brain. Sugars cause your brain to go hyper because there's too much an influx of energy I heard the analogy, it's like letting little children run around in a hall without any supervision. So they'll break down the whole place if you leave them to it, if you just let them run around without supervision, and it's an enclosed space. So it's the same with your veins. If you throw in too much sugar or glucose, processed sugars, it will just cause havoc. So insulin is like the security guard. So if you need to secrete more insulin, your pancreas has to work harder, and it has to take out all of these little children or the glucose out of your system, the sugar. And it has been found that an increase of glucose in your blood is related to degenerative brain diseases like Alzheimer's. So type 2 diabetes is where your body needs to make too much insulin all the time because you don't have enough security guards to manage these children or the glucose in your blood. So if there's too much glucose, you need to secrete too much insulin, your pancreas gets damaged, and that can end up being type 2 diabetes. So that can also lead to cellular damage, vascular damage. It can lead to nerve damage. So it's a really debilitating disease. So cut down on the processed foods, the processed sugars, the additives, the preservatives, the colorants. Cut down on all of those things because they negatively affect your brain. They are stimulants, all of them. Sweeteners, glutamates, are also harmful for your brain. Glutamates have been found to cause anxiety and OCD. So this is like monosodium glutamate. So you need glutamic acid in small amounts, but you don't need the added glutamate in processed foods. Man-made things are not recognized by our body as being beneficial, but they still go in. They force themselves in, rather than the natural forms of things where they will knock before they go in, and they can be either absorbed or excreted. The ones that we make, that we add to our foods, the processed foods, they force themselves to be absorbed into our bodies, and a lot of the time they can cause harm. So sweeteners, additives, processed sugars, colorants, preservatives, all of these things are negative for our bodies. They cause inflammation. The same with processed oils. They also cause inflammation, and they cause a decrease in your cellular health and decrease in neurogenesis. Saturated fat, animal products, are also not beneficial to your body. They are inflammatory and they decrease neurogenesis. Caffeine stops neurogenesis. It dehydrates you as well. Your brain needs good hydration. High caloric intake decreases neurogeneration. Disease history and lots of soft foods causes a decrease in neurogenesis. So what increases neurogenesis? So I have touched on some of them. I'll add some more things. An anti-inflammatory diet, lots of omega-3s. Dried fruit is fantastic, especially sun-dried with no added sugar. It concentrates all of these anthocyanins, the phytonutrients that are really beneficial for your brain. Then vitamin E, green leafy vegetables, seeds, nuts, fatty fruits contain vitamin E like mango, avocado, coconut, or the tropical ones. Then you want spices and herbs. They increase your cellular growth. They are good for your vascular health. They provide anti-inflammatory products to your body too. So they are like turmeric, oregano, the Italian herbs, parsley, mint, marjoram, cinnamon, cayenne pepper, turmeric, ginger, garlic, black pepper. These are all really fantastic for your body. Try to include as many spices into your diet as you can. So cinnamon you can add, you can use daily turmeric, you can use daily turmeric is also an anti-inflammatory and it can stop pain. So 6 milligrams of turmeric a day acts like a painkiller, which another interesting fact. Fasting and crunchy foods are also fantastic for your brain and fantastic for your gut because there's a lot of fiber in. Fasting helps your system to recover, to take away all of the damaged cells, use the damaged cells as energy, and then it kind of refreshes your whole system. So a period of fasting, optimal 36 hours to 3 days is an optimal fast period if you can do that. So you still drink water, so you can do a water fast or juice fast for 36 hours to 3 days, and that will really clear out your system. The B vitamins are really important, and they are high in your your vegetables. Minerals are also higher in vegetables and fruit. Fruit contain a lot of vitamins. Vegetables contain a lot of minerals and B vitamins. So vitamin A as well in your darkly colored fruit and vegetables, orange and yellows. Then beans and legumes you can eat all year. You can add them each and every day. So they are also fantastic. They're high fiber, high energy, high protein, high mineral content foods that will also really boost your brain. Then lastly, I'm going to touch on some supplements that you might take that can really benefit your body. So a vegan omega-3, because the fish-based ones can be contaminated with heavy metals, and you get that inflammatory effect from the saturated fat. So the vegan plant-based omega-3s will benefit your body much more. The animal-based omega-3 is good for you, but they get the omega-3 from a plant. So why not go straight to the source, get yours from the source, from the origin as well. So as I said, sea vegetables are very high in omega-3 and they're fantastic for your body and your brain. Then D3, vitamin D3 is also essential for your brain. Vitamin D you get from sunlight, so you want about 10 to 20 minutes of sunlight a day to have your vitamin D, and your omega-3 will help the vitamin D absorb as well. Then if you want to take a supplement, vitamin E, B12 and folate, then some plants that are extremely beneficial, ginseng and ginkgo, they will increase your blood flow. So that will really help to clear out toxins, help to give you more oxygenation and really benefit your brain with clearer thinking and happier, more awake state. So I think I've covered most of what I would like to cover. So the things to focus on for your brain: high fiber, high nutrients, plants. So high nutrients, high plant intake, very colorful plants to get the phytonutrients and the anti-inflammatories and to get away the reactive oxygen species. So berries are fantastic, all of the different colors. So eat the rainbow, and high fiber is essential. Then decrease your sugar, your salt, your processed oil intake, your fast foods. Try to decrease your intake of those. And if you have grains, have whole grains. So the whole grain, not the refined grain. So those are my tips and tricks for your brain, how to keep your brain healthy. If your gut is healthy, if your microbiome is healthy, your brain will be healthy. So the same with your skin. If your gut is healthy, your skin will be healthy. So as always, stay healthy, and to God be the glory.